Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of premarketinfo.com. We're lucky to have Dennis back with us. He's feeling better this morning. Dennis, are you ready for a big day?
It looks like it's going to be a big day, Joe. We've got movers all over the place, huge earnings days, major players out there, obviously Apple and Intel last night, but we got major earnings announcements from Morgan Stanley, UTX, Travelers Group, BlackRock. So there's a whole pile of them. We'll try to do those on the market movers, but That's going to be your catalyst today.
Sounds good. All right, let's start with the most important index in the world, the E-mini S&Ps. Nice rally yesterday. So far in the Globex session, we have not been able to reach yesterday's high, which was 1229.75. Right above that, you have Monday's Globex high at 1230.75. So, folks, we are looking at a potential major breakout to the upside above this 1230 level. On the other hand, if this 1227.25 holds up as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 1195.25. So far, the Globex low made last night in the midst of Apple getting crushed at 1214.25. That should be good support this morning all the way down to the pivot. If that 1214.25 holds as the low of the day, we have an upside target of 1246.25. Right now, we're currently in our swing area right here, 1221's mid-range on the day. Need to hold that in order to go up and test that Globex high. Moving on to ExxonMobil. Got up there right near its August 2nd high, 79.51, stopping before settling at 78.89. That 79.51 level, excellent resistance. Above that, I'm looking for it to take out 80 with no problem and perhaps test the August 1st high of 81.18. The only thing I want to alert our traders to is on the bottom, coming on the downside, we got a triple bottom here at $77. So as long as we hold 77, we're good to go north.
77.02 yesterday, so stay above there. I still think, like I know on the charts, 80 doesn't look that big, but just such a psychological level. I just feel that we haven't been up there for a couple months. Maybe there's some institution hiding some size up there at 80, so I wouldn't be surprised if 80 is a little bit of a hurdle. I don't think it'd be as a major hurdle, as a psychological level like a 75, but 80 could give you some initial resistance.
Okay, Apple, disappoints the street a little bit. Have a major sell-off going in the stock. What can you expect after the run this thing had from 354 up to making that all-time high the other day at 426.70? You got to expect some kind of pullback in the market sometime. The levels I'd like to keep attention to on the downside, 391.50 was our 6-day low. And below that, 378.21 was the 7-day low. I don't imagine it going back down to those levels. But, Dennis, maybe you can give us a little insight in that stock.
Just looking at it, that 400, I've been watching the trading today. Like last night we were trading in the 395 area. Today 400 is acting like the magnet. That's a big number, big psychological number. It's kind of just been hanging around 399, 401 here most of the early morning session. So I'd use 400 for my swing number on it. Looking back, 390, I remember being some good support down there, Joel. I don't know if it's going to get that low again today, but if it did, I'd imagine it should maybe the first shot get an initial bounce in that 390 area.
Yeah, the spike down, immediately, the panic selling after the earnings came out was 388.91. So, I'd hasten to say I'd be surprised if we do see that level, but 390 is close enough. Going back on the upside, your guess is as good as mine. I think if you're an Apple trader, you can maybe let the big boys trade today and pick it up in a day or two. Moving on to IBM, disappointed the street a little bit yesterday. Let's keep an eye on 176.25. That was the low from yesterday. 179.38 was the high. We settled right near that area. Those are some good numbers to use to see, kind of what the thought process is after earnings. Major support at 172.66 and there's really no major resistance in this stock going back up until Wednesday's close at 185.65.
The only number I would say was one that Chris actually pointed out yesterday would be the 180, because it was before a little bit of resistance, not huge, so maybe that gives you some on if we start to rally up here. Going down, you got a lot of air though. This chart just looks kind of scary to be trading, because you're right, Joel. Like, you get above that 180, it's just a gap in there to fill. But then you start getting below 176 here, and it's kind of open season for a little bit too. Like, I see major support down at the 170 area for you swing traders, but that's not going to come into play today. So I don't know. I'd sit on my hands on IBM in this level, I think.
Dennis, why don't they split a stock like this or split a stock like Apple?
You mean just with the price?
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's just prestige pricing almost too. They like having that high price stock, just like, and then Warren Buffett always with Berkshire says, well, it costs money to split stocks, so why would I do that and put added expenses on shareholders? I don't know if these two companies have the same philosophies as Warren Buffett or not. Makes some sense, but I think it's more prestige pricing. They like their high price stocks, Joel.
Okay, all right, that's a good explanation. CVX busted out to the upside yesterday, taking out that critical resistance at the 100.25 to 158 level. Busted through there, fresh to 104.15. Come back and settled to 102.95. I would use that close as, definitely some minor resistance, probably some people stepping in at 103. Of course, Tuesday's high at 104.15 would be your major resistance. Coming back on the downside, use that 1100 or that 100.50 level as support. Also, below that, I'd be looking for 97.97, which was Tuesday's low.
105 is huge on this too, Joel. If you get above that 104.15, I see 50,000 shares up at 105. Topped out there. If we go back on the charts, back in June, it was topping out there. May, it kind of topped out there a bit. So there is, some. There has been a seller there in the past, and it looks like there's a seller there in the present too.
Okay, GE was able to hold on Monday's low and close there, so you basically have a double bottom here at the 16.19 to 60.24 level. Busted through that major resistance at 16.65. Traded up to almost $17 in a flash there. Got to 16.95. Just kind of turned my head, and it was back down at 16.70. So I'm sure you're going to get some sellers here in that $16.95 to $17 level. Coming back on the downside, you got to love that double bottom there at the 16.23.24 level.
Do you see a couple 100,000 shares up there at 17? So I think what you seen yesterday is probably some of those high frequency guys leaning on that seller. They sell in the 90s, so that gives you some initial resistance. If people are leaning on the high frequency guys, then you might see a little bit more resistance in the 80s, but major resistance up there until that 17 seller gets taken out.
Okay, Microsoft looking at a triple top here, 27.40 to 27.50. Below there, let's look for that 28.15 level, which was the high back on July 25th. Coming back on the downside, support shall be right now at the close at 27.31. Below that, really don't have anything major except for Monday and Tuesday's lows there, double bottom, 26.80 to 26.85.
I mean, we've talked about this 27.5 level for, a few sessions here now, and three sessions in a row. We've topped at 27.50, 27.41, 27.40. So, right, Joe, like a triple top there. Get above that 27.50, with the, 27.60 starts trading, then we could talk about 28, but still at 27.50 provides some resistance.
Okay, here we go. Sound like a broken record. Triple top in AT&T, 29.35 to 43. Above that, things really open up until that August 31st high, 29.90. Coming back on the downside, you got a triple bottom in the lows at 28.63 to 77. So you got your range there. Let's see if it's a breakout or a breakdown.
Yeah, Joel, let's chart actually. So you're right. There's some triple tops out there today. I see the same thing. Definitely major resistance, that 29.45 to 50 area. But yeah, you're right. If we can break out over there, 30 would be huge on this stock. That's from the psychological level. I see some,
I have never seen so many triple bottoms and triple tops in all the years of doing my numbers here. And just to keep going with that theme, J&J, 64.74 to 84, triple top. We've talked about that seller at 65. The close was 64.42. That should serve as some minor support here. Coming back down, you have Monday and Tuesday's low at 63.40 to 63.62. So, as Chris and I talked about yesterday, this thing's getting ready to break out. Just a question, break out or break down?
Yeah, it's 6,000 guy still survives. The high frequency guys lean on him in the 90s. You get some swing traders and, short term traders leaning in the 80s. So that's what gives you that initial resistance. 65 gets taken out, then it can open up, and then obviously, tractor beam plays and whatnot can come into play. But that right now, that is why you keep topping out here and you're getting these triple tops in the 64.70 area.
Okay, Procter & Gamble snuck above the weekly high, got as high as 65.59 before peeling back along with the market, settled at 64.92. Major support at the 64.08, 64.10 level, double bottom there. So let's see if we can take out to 65.59 and make a run at that June 3rd high at 65.82. Actually, you have even more support. You have 63.97 coming in there. Is the 4-day low too. So 64, major level, Procter & Gamble.
Yeah, and something else to keep in mind, went ex-dividend today for 52 cents. So adjust your close. 64.92 was the 4 o'clock close yesterday. The adjusted close today is 64.39.5. So 64.40 is basically your adjusted close. I like that 64 level too, Joel. Right there, that's a stock. Some institutions might be saying, I can buy, 52 cents cheaper. I don't get the dividend, but you're still buying the stock cheaper. And now if it falls that far, you'd be another 40 cents cheaper. So 64 looks pretty good to me too.
Okay, and just sound like a broken record here. Pfizer, Monday and Tuesday's high at same level, 1913 and 1914. Trying to bust out there to test the highs back from the end of July or early August. Coming back on the downside, getting some nice support here at Tuesday's low at 18.55. That stock may get a little boost from the positive Avid news this morning.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. You wonder if some of the pharmaceutical stocks are going to get a lift from Abbott, announcing that they're going to split into two separate companies. 1910, I see a little bit of size there on Pfizer, but this whole area just provides resistance. It's 19 to 1910.
Okay, SPU's kind of meandering here near the lower end of the range here. The downside pressure of the Apple earnings starting to weigh in the S&Ps a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors, and be back with our market movers.